Hey guys, welcome back. Today I'm going to give you my top 10 Amazon garden favorites. I actually really wanted to do this video outside, but we definitely got our cold snap that we've been waiting for, that I've been talking about for the last few weeks. We've been in this like fall spring for the last few weeks, and it decided it wanted to be winter for the last 2 days. So I am in my seed starting room today, but I wanted to go over this list because I know when you're starting out gardening, the last thing you want to do is spend even more money than you already have. And over the years, I really feel like I found a few hidden gems that I think you would appreciate. So let's just go ahead and jump right in. Okay, so number one on this list is my garden bed. So I do have a few wooden garden beds, but for the most part, you will see galvanized steel garden beds in my garden. So the first one I originally bought was in 2020. 2021, I bought two more, and then for the end of 2021 going on to 2022, I bought 8 more. So I have 12 of these galvanized steel garden beds in my garden area. I always get the question on if I've seen any rusting or how are they holding up. They are holding up great. I will say that my one that's the oldest, the one that's going to be 3 years old this year, there is some slight rusting on it, but really it's not much that it affects anything, so I'm not really too concerned. And honestly, it's probably from when my dog would pee on the corners of that garden bed, because he loved to pee on the corners of that garden bed, and that's where it's slightly rusting. But other than that, I really don't have any other rust problems on any of the others. That one, he really loved to go to the bathroom on that. They're roughly like $60. They will spike here probably pretty soon. During peak summer, they can spike up to like $100. So if you're looking for a garden bed option, I highly suggest it. It's cheap, it gets the job done, it's an 8x4, and I really like them. Number 2 on this list is Terracotta plant stakes. So I like these because you can just take an empty wine bottle with some water, throw it in at a base of a plant. I like to use these at the base of all my sunflowers, all of my vining crops. I also like to use them in any fabric planters I have. So the fabric planters, like any type of grow bag you will see, especially here in Kansas where it gets windy, those will be like the first thing that will dry out for me. So I really have to make sure that water is present, or I have to be really on top of my watering. I also like to use these for sunflowers and any type of vining crop, because those tend to suck up a lot of water, and I like to give those plants that really take off and grow all the water that they possibly could want. So that is one reason why I really like using these. I also just like the fact that I can use an old wine bottle and plop it in. It kind of works like an oil would, but not. These are more of like a stick near a plant and call it a day. They really won't water too far, but if you're having like a hot streak in your garden or anything, I felt like these were game changer last summer when we were just having really hot, dry weeks. I love these. I've had these for I think 2 or 3 years now as well. I keep buying them. I have had a few break though, but it is terracotta, so I can't really complain. Number 3 are these hanging solar lights. So I like these lights because they're individual, and then they have this clamp, and I like to hang these on all of my arched trellises. It's just a really easy way to throw some light onto those trellises, and they're mobile. So yeah, I like these. It's pretty quick and simple. Solar lights. So number 4 isn't necessarily like, I would say it's garden related, but it's more preserving. So if you're growing any type of herbs in your garden, I highly suggest getting an herb hanger. This is amazing for drying your herbs. This has 4 separate pockets. I can throw basil, sage, thyme, rosemary, and I can just hang this. I have a little hook in my living room. A week later, everything's dry. I really like using this over any type of dehydrator when it comes to my herbs, because the heat really does affect your herbs, and I've noticed a huge difference when using a herb hanger. This is also just kind of the lazy man's way out. You don't have to like be present to your drying, and you just throw it up, call it a day, and once it's dry, put it away. So number 5 are my big grow bags. So I wanted to mention these because this is a great option for anyone that's just getting started. I will say they've ripped slightly, but that's because I have moved these things all over my garden countless times. If you were just to fill them and let them sit, they would probably last you even longer. But I think it's a great cheap option, especially if you're not wanting to throw a bunch of garden beds, or if you're in a situation where you have a lot of container growing that you need to do. Grow bags are key, and the ones I will link for you guys are one of the bigger ones that I've bought in over the years, and these just work really well for tomatoes, sunflowers. I've also planted a few pepper plants in each one before, and overall I think they're a great size for any type of container gardening or if you're getting started. So okay, number 6, I'm sure there's better twine on the market, but this is what I've used for 6 years. I just really like this container The twine comes out and I can just rip it off real fast. I don't need scissors. I like to throw this in my pocket to where whenever I'm doing tomatoes or like trying to trellis anything, I can just like, oh, of course it's not going to work when I want it to work. Oh my gosh. There we go. But it's really easy just to throw in your pocket. You don't need any extra equipment. This is the Wrappy Clip green twine. I also know they have a natural one as well. I've bought in both in the past. I just really, really like this little container that this twine comes in. I think it's really handy. And again, I've used it for 6 years. So if you have a better one, let me know. But this has been my ride or die. Ooh, where'd they go? All right, number 7 are my pruners. I really like these pruners. They're a really good price. And, you know, the thinner nose to these, and they're also just a little thicker. So these are kind of like a dual purpose type of like snip versus some of the other like pruners you can get. They have a lock on them. They're handy. I think they're nice. They work really well. I don't know if there's anything else I can really talk about when it comes to like pruners. So number 8 is these garden sprayers here. These are both from Petra Tools. You will see me use this 5-gallon one more often than this one. This one here is really affordable for as big as it is. I think this is a 2 or 3 gallon. This honestly just replaced like my everyday like pump sprayer. My garden was getting too big toward like year 4 where pump spraying the garden was obnoxious, and we started to look into battery powered sprayers, and I really, really like both of these. And I was spraying like worm castings and stuff like that through it last summer, and I also really like to use these for my seedlings. So I did get away with using a pump sprayer. I have a pump sprayer linked under most of my videos just because it's great and it's a cheap option. But if you're over pump spraying, I highly suggest getting a like good battery powered sprayer. This has been game changer. Like I really didn't think that the battery powered sprayer would make that much of a difference in my everyday life, but it really does. I don't really spray with neem or anything like that anymore, but when it comes to like watering seedlings, treating the garden with any type of worm casting or like liquid fertilizer, I think this is game changer. This one though can be a little pricey, so that's why I also suggest this little guy. If you're not like into gardening yet, this is something you probably wait on. So the next 2 are things I mentioned in my everything seed starting video. So everything I use for seed starting. These 2 things I have found just to be really great over the years. I've bought in multiple of different things, and these are my go-to. So these 3.5-inch nursery pots I think are amazing. They work so well for so much. I find these the perfect size to typically not have to up pot anything. Anything smaller than this, I typically will have to up pot unless I'm doing a soil block and they're going to be out within a 4 to 6 week window. Everything like my peppers are in these. My tomatoes will go in these here in like 3 or 4 weeks, but I swear by these. I've had these for 5 years. I've only had a handful of them break. They're also really flexible, which is what I really like about them. I've had a lot of seed starting containers over the years be really stiff, and it's really hard to get those plants out. So highly suggest that. And then the last thing I have on my list is actually this 4x2 heat mat. So these come in a 2-pack. This is actually one of the ones I have not used because I just have the 3 over here, but I will throw this one up here pretty soon. These things are amazing. Like I have a really dinky small one that I will show you. I think these were roughly the same price. I think I got this in a 2-pack, and these are small. This will hold 1 tray, when one of these will hold like 4 or 5 trays. And if you're like me and you're in a weird space trying to grow your seedlings, or even outside somewhere and you have limited amounts of plugins, the bigger mat is the better option in my opinion. All right guys, well that concludes my top 10 Amazon garden favorites. I hope you enjoyed this little quick video explaining some of the things that I have loved over the years. I will make sure I link everything down in the description box for you, but I will see you guys all next week. Bye!